When opening a marijuana-related business or club, it's vital that you obtain expert legal advice right away. 14-year legal veteran and respected field expert Denise Policella founded Cannabis Attorneys of Mid-Michigan to provide focused expertise to the developing industry. She's uniquely suited to help your business grow and remain open. And with attorney Timothy McDonald, now provides premier representation on criminal charges, raids, and asset forfeitures. Click on smallbusinesslegal.net or call 517-546-1181. That's 517-546-1181.
The State Court of Appeals has overruled the city of Wyoming on the issue of medical marijuana. Back in December of 2010, the city council adopted a ban on the use of medical marijuana within the city. Wyoming's mayor said that if the drug is going to be legal, it should be dispensed the same way other prescription drugs are sold. Some residents challenged the ban in court and won. The appeals court ruled that Wyoming's ordinance is in conflict with the state's Medical Marijuana Act.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power clear.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keepin' you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan medical marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. Hey. You tuned in to that medical marijuana show. 855-MMM Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that medical marijuana show. 855-MMM Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
Hey, welcome to another Medical Marijuana Radio show just after noon on the first weekend in August. It's August 4th, 2012. I am patient and caregiver Steve Greene. To my right is Denise Policella. Welcome to the show, Denise.
Good afternoon.
And
our newly, happily, legally growing caregiver and patient in South Lyon, yes. After the Wyoming decision.
Oh, well, people always pull my cover. Boy, I got to get this stuff set up, and then people pull the rug out from underneath and stealing the fire. Damn it.
It's my job.
You're taking his thunder.
That's my job.
So what happened to Rick? Where's Rick Thompson? Normally, Denise is a business attorney, incidentally.
I am.
Tell him the name of your business, Denise.
Well, I have Small Business Legal Services, which focuses primarily on creating, counseling, and growing small businesses. And then I have Cannabis Attorneys of Mid-Michigan, which obviously is focused on the cannabis community. But my particular specialty is creating and counseling cannabis businesses, so medical marijuana industry businesses, caregivers, patients, clubs, collectives,
and you also
dispensaries.
Have a defense wing.
I do. I have partnered with. He's not technically. We have an agreement, a joint venture agreement, basically with Tim McDonald. He's a very, very well seasoned criminal defense attorney in Livingston County who's experienced in criminal law, business litigation, that kind of thing. So I lean heavily on him for litigation and criminal defense services. We argue. We're like an old married couple. We get together a couple times a week and hash out what's going on in the medical marijuana law and our strategy for defending people. And it's a good relationship.
You can't get in a room full of lawyers without some sibling rivalry.
Which is it's a good thing, because you need to be able to continuously bounce your strategies and your readings of the current law and where you think it's going off of somebody who's also, a well-seasoned attorney. And Tim does that for me.
We are missing Rick Thompson. I don't know what happened to Rick. I didn't hear from him this morning.
Sorry.
Good God. Scared me there for a second. I thought...
Right on the
Look,
radio.
I know better than to admit to a crime. So,
Me too.
dear Rick, are you out there? Come on in. We're still here.
Could you do us a favor, Ryan,
won't
and
lock the door.
check and see if the Thompson's outside? Also in the studio, our radio intern Ryan Bringold.
Hello.
Bringold?
Bringold.
Bring gold. Hey, bring as much as you can.
Now it just sounds like a pretzel.
I'm sorry, hey, we went through this
Rolled
last
gold.
week.
Last week it was
See, we could
different.
have rolled gold, but not
could.
bread. But forget. I'm going to find Rick. So.
Didn't sound like a pretzel last week.
Driving the show right into a brick wall. So today on the program, it looks like I've invited a couple of guys on that have opened up a new safe access model in the Detroit area.
Is this the one on Woodward I keep hearing about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Greg Palowski should be calling. Him and Marvin have set up a new place.
Okay.
They were going to do it last year, but Greg went out of town. I think he had, I don't know, was chasing
Hate when they go out of town.
chasing a girl around or something. And so he went out of state and did some activism out of state in was it New Hampshire? Where
It was
where
east,
he?
wasn't it?
It was east. I keep screwing up. He'll tell us.
Connecticut. New
Connecticut.
Hampshire,
Yeah, where
something like
Stanford. It's Connecticut. He went to Connecticut.
Yeah.
So he's going to be on the show later because we've got an announcement to make.
And
Well,
I don't know about it.
No, you
so
don't.
I can't blow it this time.
Yeah, exactly. You see, you steal my thunder, I hide it.
I can't help it. I'm excited about the Wyoming decision. It was a good
I am
thing.
excited about it too, but we try and do the introductory stuff here and tell
All right.
people what we'll talk about and then dive
Well,
into
you
it
know
because we
no
only got
one-
6 minutes here. There's not enough time.
You know no one listens to me anyway, so
And nobody does apparently to me either. So
Go ahead and reintroduce it.
Well, I mean,
none of our listeners.
We
and our
wanted to
listeners
talk
are
about
just
the
rolling out of
idea.
bed.
In case you didn't hear the big news, there was a court ruling. It was a court of appeals ruling on
Hoekstra. Oh my God, it was Hoekstra too.
Is it Beek or Ter Beek? I don't know because it's
It's Ter
Beek.
Beek. Terbeek.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is it one word or because it's two words?
Well, it's
but I'm
his
confused.
last name.
The two words are a last name.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can confuse the first word with a middle name.
Yeah.
So it's Ter Beek versus Wyoming.
Yes.
And
city of Wyoming.
yeah, in Michigan.
Right.
And that's down in Kent County.
It's west. Yeah, it's south of Grand Rapids. I don't know particularly.
Yeah, it's
what
down
county
in
it is.
it's down there.
Right.
And the idea here is that they did the same thing that I did. I sued Lyon Township.
Right.
I brought a suit against Lyon Township asking for a declaratory judgment, asking for the judge to declare Lyon Township's ban against medical marijuana businesses unenforceable.
Well, ban against medical marijuana, period. Let's make that clear. It wasn't just against businesses. And I think everyone
You're right
in this
about that.
industry has been, very aware of the fact that a lot of ways that municipalities have gotten around dealing with medical marijuana at all is to simply cite federal law and put a clause in their ordinances that prohibit any activity that violates federal law. And obviously, any growing or use of marijuana would do that.
Now, the case that they brought, see, I dropped my case. I dropped it because I at some point in time, it was apparent we were going to get a judge who was anti.
And it's expensive.
It is expensive. Well, I didn't drop it because it was expensive.
But I mean, it's expensive to just initiate a lawsuit.
Sure.
Let's get that clear because I've been asking people to, I've been looking for a plaintiff to initiate a lawsuit against the state of Michigan for, if anyone's out there and you've got 10 grand, I would really like to sue the state of Michigan for denying endorsement of medical marijuana named businesses because they're citing federal law for that too. I know Matt Abel started one. I just don't know what happened to it.
A lot of the banks won't even open up a bank account if
Right.
the word marijuana is in the business name.
And
or
a
cannabis.
lot of them are privately owned, or they can cite insurance regulations or SEC. But the state of Michigan is
Right.
denying endorsing businesses that have the words alternative, cannabis, Greene. There's a whole list of them.
Not only
And they have
endorsing,
no-
but allowing you that business name, right?
Well, that's the endorsement certificate. When you file articles of incorporation or organization with the state of Michigan, all they have to do is make sure that, it's a rubber stamp, really. They don't have a basis to deny a business endorsement based on the fact that they think you might be doing something illegal. They
Right.
don't know that.
Well, so
And it's not their call.
it's not. It really shouldn't be.
No, and they're
this-
citing federal law, which is the hugest joke.
Well,
it's
look-
a state agency, and the funniest thing Is this the same agency that runs the medical marijuana program?
Right.
The LARA is the same agency
that licenses and regulates.
Yeah, it's got the corporations division and the medical marijuana program, and it's a joke.
So this whole business with banks not allowing, and apparently the state of Michigan, other states have done this too, have denied people the name for namesake. It's just part of the old battle. They're just digging their heels and dragging their feet.
They're afraid of money laundering charges. They're afraid of, DEA attention. And they're afraid of, a lot of the time they're leaning on insurance, just saying our insurance won't allow it.
The bank opened up, the name of the business that runs this show is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network. It's actually the Michigan Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Right.
And I opened this business name at a bank. I won't say which bank, but I opened it at a regular, standard, full-service bank. And it came back before they printed the checks. It came back. They said you're going to have to acronym this. You're going to have to use initials. Don't use the words because if you do, we had to close the account. Like, really? But that's not the case with my credit union. I moved it to the credit union, and the credit union prints the name right on my Visa card.
Good.
So, I mean, in full.
I think as interestingly ironic as this is, I think banks are concerned about having
banking regulation. Look, they got a lot of money at stake. They don't want to lose their big industry.
If you walked in there with $10 million and wanted to name your company, they wouldn't care what you named it, right? I mean,
I don't know if they're worried about the federal government taking over their holdings.
I don't think they run the federal government.
Yeah,
don't
you're
they?
right. That's the big problem with that Supreme Court decision about people are corporations are people.
Corporations are people. Yeah, I wish I was perpetual. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, if the corporations are people, they should be paying a people tax rate, not a corporate tax rate.
Not only that, they should be paying an individual tax rate, and they should die when they're 90 of emphysema, and they don't. They just keep going. That's the thing I don't get. It's like, really, corporations. And I'm an attorney, and I was a poli-sci major. Okay, corporations aren't people. They're just not.
I really like Pepsi, but it's dead now. I'm going to have to drink Coke.
Right.
Coming up in
Pepsi
moments,
died.
we'll be getting with Greg Palowski on the phone. We'll talk about our announcement. We're gonna make an announcement. It's grand, but it's not that grand. Don't get the wrong idea. We'll tell you the details coming up in moments on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Don't go away.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free 855 MMM Radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
Hey, Metro Detroit, come to Nature's Alternative, a clean, safe, secure cannabis provisioning center on the Grosse Pointe Detroit border on Mack Avenue. Nature's Alternative has a professional, knowledgeable, and friendly staff helping patients and caregivers daily with a complete line of medibles, concentrates, topicals, and raw flowers. You'll get only the best medical-grade cannabis produced by Michigan growers and caregivers at Nature's Alternative. Open 7 days a week. A proud supporter of the National Patient Rights Association. Details at naturesalternativeclinic.com or call 313-885-0000. That's 313-885-0000. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
1310 WDTW, Detroit's Progressive Talk. This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
I just got a text from Rick. It says, "Let me in."
Oh, great. So we should probably go downstairs.
Here, hang
what
on.
happened to Rick's? Good Lord.
What's the password?
Don't ask Rick for the password. He'll never get in here. So, oh boy. We're just delving into this whole business today about the court thing coming up in just a bit.
Yeah.
Because the Court of Appeals made a ruling
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, well, just briefly, because we got Greg on the line, and I promised we'd talk to Greg. So we want to go to Greg Palowski briefly.
Anything I'm good at, it's being brief.
But just to tell people what's headed up after we talk to Greg and make our little announcement, the business with the Court of Appeals was, I said that I sued Lyon Township. And this is the same exact suit, the same language in the suit over the same language in the ordinance that we were objecting to and asked the judge to declare unenforceable, void, null and having no effect.
Right.
And I wasn't going to get, apparently it seemed we might not get favorable opinion, and we didn't have the money to drag it out into the appeals process. So there were other duplicate cases, and Wyoming was one of them, and it made its way to the Court of Appeals.
Yes.
So the Wyoming case, the local court sided with Wyoming, the defendant in this case, and said, no, you guys don't, we're not going to declare it having no effect. And then the appeals court said, no, we reverse and remand. You have to go back in summary disposition for the plaintiff, which means the effect is what? It's null and void. It's unenforceable, yes?
And every single municipality in Michigan that has an ordinance that prohibits activity simply because it's in violation of federal law has to now go back to the drawing board. And that's probably half of them. Half.
Yeah.
Easily.
Like 40 jurisdictions.
Let's get this straight. This wasn't necessarily a medical marijuana case. It was certainly favorable to the medical marijuana community and to patients. It had nothing to do with businesses, or dispensaries. So people who
had to do with banning our rights under the act.
People who continue to call me asking me if they can now open a dispensary based on this, no. So not based on this ordinance, but the ordinance had to do with supremacy and conflict of laws. And what the appellate court said was, you cannot make a local ordinance that is in direct violation of state law. And they also found that state law does not currently conflict with federal law in this regard, that you can, by either act or omission, be compliant with both the Controlled Substances Act and state law, because what the State Medical Marijuana Act does is only gives you protection from prosecution from state law, and therefore it does not purport to protect you from violation or prosecution from federal law.
Right. Hey, look who's in the studio. It's Rick Thompson.
I'm here.
What happened to you?
Without a password.
Actually, I stopped earlier to see Greg Palowski down at the Woodward Health Solutions facility.
Oh, I know what happened now.
Yeah, and I'm blaming Missy Griggs and Christine Beebe, who I know are listening right now. So both of you are bad women, bad. You delayed me from coming to my appointed rounds.
Women are evil, lying bitches.
Oh, I did not say that. I have to face them later, Steve. I'm getting a whooping now. Oh, no.
Push the button. Here's Rick in bed later.
Just later, that sounds like every day.
Oh, my God.
So welcome to the show, Greg Palowski. Greg, put the cricket up for a second. Greg, how you doing, Greg?
I'm doing fine. I'm sorry to laugh. We were laughing when Rick was running a little tardy to work, and we're laughing right now, too. From
Is
your
that tardy as in later, or tardy as in, not all put together?
Retardy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was fine when he got here. He was fine when he left. He was, I guess, just a little slow in traffic. That's all right.
Ouch, that hurts, Greg. That hurts. Coming from a friend. Oh, so deep.
Greg Palowski and Marvin have put together. Tell him, Marvin, or tell him, Greg.
We put together a facility, a community center in Detroit called Woodward Health Solutions. It sits on Woodward Avenue, just north of 6 Mile, which is McNichols Road, and it's a community center for the entire community. It's a place where support groups are done, advocacy, teaching classes, as well as a farmers market. And currently, right now, we have a farmers market going on today, Saturdays from 11 a.m. until about 5 p.m. And right now, I have a few lovely folks over there right now listening to the radio program and selling their wares right now.
You know what I want to do, Greg? Remember the old Farmer Jack?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do farmers market savings time. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
They used to do the Farmers Jack savings time. They've been bought out by, who was it?
Oh, man. I remember Hamady way back then.
A few of those sites were actually bought out by Kroger.
Yeah, Kroger bought most of the old Farmer Jacks.
Correct, yeah. So, yeah, we're over here right now, and then in a few weeks, we're going to be doing on August 18th for the Woodward Dream Cruise. We're going to be having our open house pretty much all day.
Now, the 18th, that's 2 weeks away, right? Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah, it's 2 weeks away, and we'll be having some food and drinks as well as tour the facility and a place for patients to medicate and a place where patients can actually be shuttled to a site 9.5 mile in Woodward Avenue, just in Ferndale, just a lot south of Priscilla's lingerie store. There's going to be a location where a club member has allowed us to,
having a private party there.
Correct, yeah. And that is also, I believe, where we have you guys set up to do your remote broadcast as well.
Oh, we're going to do a broadcast. Hey, Greg spilled the beans for me.
From Ferndale?
From Ferndale.
Awesome.
Yay.
So we're going to be in Ferndale
I love
along the
Ferndale.
Woodward Dream Cruise doing our regular medical marijuana radio show broadcast. And then also we'll be streaming on Dream Ride Live all day with video from that location so that people can check out the cars. I think it's really important that, we speak for a medical community. A lot of these guys can't get out in this heat. They can't get out in this in this weather, or some of them can't get out at all. And so we're out there to put some cameras out there so you can enjoy it vicariously from your air-conditioned comfort, wherever you're at.
We'll do the really, really hard work. We'll sit out there at the Dream Cruise.
Exactly. I mean, when Steve was talking about this a couple of days ago, where the streaming idea came up, and I thought that was a very poignant position to be in. And part of what Woodward Health Solutions does is it creates solutions for everybody. And for those folks who cannot attend physically, whether or not they'll be in Ann Arbor, 3-day convention, or whether or not they're in Muskegon or somewhere in the UP, they would be able to watch the cars in the Woodward Dream Cruise, which is really, really nice.
Well, the cars and the people, I mean, the whole spectacle is really fabulous. I mean, it's awesome.
It's a lot of folks getting together in one place with love and brotherhood, that's for sure.
It's certainly, I think, Detroit's biggest event all year.
Yeah, that's a community right there in and of itself. The car enthusiasts, they really are special folks.
Correct. Yeah, now today, actually, there's the Gratiot Cruise as well in Macomb County. In Clinton Township, actually, August 5th, I think is what it is. So I believe that's today.
So in 2 weeks, we'll be doing a live broadcast from noon until 1 on this station, on RadioWeedShow.com, on Ustream. We'll throw it up on YouTube later. And then now there'll be a shuttle running from where we're broadcasting at 9.5 and Woodward.
Correct.
Straight down to your safe access place.
Correct, yeah. So that way, people can enjoy the cars and then come over and then enjoy some good food and definitely some good medicine. And the farmers market will be going that day as well. So, people will be able to buy some stuff.
Well, and more importantly, you'll have the opportunity to check out the good graces of your new facility.
I appreciate that, yeah. And to answer your question, Steve, I actually moved back from New Hampshire. And,
I got it wrong. I keep saying...
Oh, you were right. You said
you
New
were
Hampshire.
right. Yeah.
I was right the first time,
Yeah. And, I was out there fighting, doing cannabis reform measures out there, too. I got one all the way to the governor's office, but unfortunately it died.
Oh, the reform you were trying to pass out there? Or?
Yeah, it was a medical marijuana bill that it was a Democratic governor. It was a Republican bill. There were Democrats who supported the bill for 6 years, and at the last minute, two Democratic senators pulled their support.
That's unfortunate.
Partisan politics at its very, very.
Oh yeah,
and
exactly.
Just because you thought of it, we're not going to support it.
Well, yeah. Well, see, the thing is, this bill was incredibly bipartisan. It was might have been sponsored by a Republican senator, a Libertarian Republican senator, but it was definitely a bill from both sides with both sides' input. It was almost word for word a Democratic bill from 3 years ago. So it was just reintroduced and responsored by a Republican, but unfortunately, again, the last minute, the Democratic governor pulled some shenanigans with two prominent Democratic senators, and lo and behold, we're trying to get them ousted right now. So
I worked for Carl Levin for a few years, and I have to tell you that one event was what turned me off of politics entirely. He had sponsored. There had been a lobbying bill that he had been trying to push through for a long time. A lobbying reform bill that got very, very little support during a Republican administration, and then Republican took over the presidency and the administration, and they immediately pushed it through and said it was their idea and their bill. And I was like, wow, is that really how this happens? You know, when politicians are willing to throw the country under the bus just to make sure that they get credit for doing something.
Hey, they're doing it right now as we speak.
It happens every day, and it turns my stomach because at that point you don't have the best interest of the people or your constituency in mind. It's for your own glory.
Tails wagging the dog.
It makes me sick. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did. I'm off my soapbox.
That's okay. We're back to the 18th of this month, a couple of weeks from now. So we're going to do the live broadcast. You got the grand opening. Can you tell people what your facility has available? You get kind of brushed over at once, but I just want to tell them what you got going on there.
Sure. What we have going on right now, currently today, as well as every Saturday, and starting Tuesday, it'll be Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, or Saturday rather, farmers market. Today we're going to be going until 5 o'clock. We also have support group classes on Mondays, some other teaching classes on Wednesdays. Again, Tuesdays and Thursdays is for the farmers markets, and Friday is kind of an open party day, I guess you could say, where we'll have some games and that type of stuff going on. But again, Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are our farmers market days.
Greg, you've got an open house coming up, or a grand opening that you're announcing, right?
Yeah, the October 18th.
That's the day of our broadcast.
Mm-hmm. It's the day of the broadcast, yeah.
Saturday, that's a big weekend because you've got the thing going on in Ann Arbor that weekend too.
Yeah, the Clarion. There's an Ann Arbor event at the Clarion
Medical Marijuana Conference sponsored by the MMR report.
It would be great if I could get a bus for both, but I can't.
Human cloning is just not there yet.
I'm really surprised that Ben Horter picked that day, the Dream Cruise Day, to put that together.
You know, we did that on our first extravaganza with Big Daddy's, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
Not a good deal.
Everybody's going to the Dream Cruise. I mean, you're going to you pick the Dream Cruise, Clarion. Everybody's going to the cruise.
Well, the Clarion
exactly.
thing is 3 days.
I was just going to say that we need to be supportive of all medical marijuana events, and I highly encourage people to attend.
No, they should. No, don't get me wrong. I support
our audience
Ben.
specifically, sure. Yeah.
But we got the same problem as you, though. We can't be at both places at once. And,
right.
Well, the Clarion thing is 3 days. So,
right.
Maybe.
But our show is only one day.
Yeah.
I'm saying we can't split ourselves up between the two. That was my point.
Only 1 hour to devote on Saturday from 12 to 1.
That's right.
We're cheap bastards. That's all we can afford.
That means, Ben, if you want to hire us to come out there later on Saturday, we're willing. We're willing.
Shameless, I'll be speaking Friday night there at some point. So, but
guys,
it's
I'm going to take
possible.
off to do my farmers market thing. So everybody, just come on down to our farmers market, Woodward Health Solutions, Woodward Avenue, just north of 6 Mile.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Greg. And good luck.
Guys,
what's the building address for people to put in their GPS, Greg?
It's 17438 Woodward Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48203.
17438 Woodward.
Yep, you got it.
All right, thanks, Greg.
All right, guys. Thanks for the applause.
Good luck to you.
All right, buddy.
All right.
That's fantastic.
He likes the sound effects. You could really make Greg smile when you play the sound effects.
I think you made him giggle.
Except for the lying bitch one. That's going to get me in trouble. So fantastic facility down there for those people that have not swung by. You really should take a look at it, and don't judge the building from the outside. It's got a ton of rooms on the inside. It's very well done. It's a great facility, and it's going to have a lot of stuff going on there. You heard Greg talk about classes and other type of meetings. Very important that we put these type of events in our facilities.
Well, and some of these places in the state close down, so some new ones open up. It's nice to keep people up to date on what's happening and where they can find safe access, where they can meet with their friends and partake in this community, because you can only get these things at certain places.
And we're clearly gravitating to about 3 counties in southeast Michigan. So
out of 80. Out of 80.
Well, in southeast Michigan, I really can't. I can't really speak for northern Lower Peninsula or Upper Peninsula, but certainly I think Genesee County, Wayne County, and Washtenaw County are the 3 most supportive anyway.
It always has been a divide between the north and then the very densely populated 3-county area here in the southeast of the state. I mean, there's always been this.
Oh yeah,
that part of Michigan and then this part of
Metro
Michigan.
region versus the rest of the state.
Correct.
A liberal conservative divide, and obviously I think an additional problem is not only population, because when people are looking to open somewhere like this, they need a population to cater to, and when people have to drive very long distances when there aren't that many people, it's more difficult. And also, when you open something like they're opening here in Detroit or Woodward, and you open that in the middle of a very
challenged area,
smaller community or a more wide open county, you're a much bigger fish in a much smaller pond, and you attract a lot more attention.
You notice they're not in Ferndale.
That's Oakland County. But I mean, I think particularly I've had clients try to open farther north. Clare and that kind of area, and you're very much more exposed. You're very obvious when you're not in, this is almost hiding in plain sight.
Correct.
In Wayne County, out there's no hiding.
Well, and then the difference between here and there from a police standpoint is here, when the police show up, you don't know who the guy is.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're up there, when the cop shows up, you already know who he is because he's the one cop that runs that beat. I mean,
and they have nothing to do.
Right.
I mean, no offense, but they don't have. Obviously, they have better and higher enforcement priorities in Wayne County, as far as that is concerned.
Correct.
When you're running a safe access, medical marijuana facility or, something like this in Detroit, you're not causing problems. When you open something like this up farther north, you're automatically assumed to be causing problems, and that's both a societal issue and a our cop has nothing better to do issue.
Well, you might as well have opened up a house of ill repute because that's how they look at you.
Sure, and that's a very up north is very conservative. I know you talked about the liberal versus conservative divide, and when you're looking at smaller municipalities, I mean, we sometimes have this picture of a police officer falling asleep with a radar gun in his lap behind the billboard as he's trying to catch the speeders because he's got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I know there's lots of stuff going on, and those police forces have been shrunk too, which is why there's still plenty of activity for them to do beyond focusing just on medical marijuana. And it is a shame that municipalities, sometimes the smaller ones, do pay additional attention to our particular community.
Which the Wyoming,
good example.
Decision is fixing now. I mean, it's
Ter Beek.
And this is the thing. Smaller municipalities are not allowed to insert your personal opinions into your ordinances. If you want to zone something, great, zone it.
And you can't contradict state law.
You are not. Yeah,
you're not your own entity to create your own world.
You can't create your own substantive law that conflicts with state law. And we saw by creative ordinance writing that's what a lot of municipalities were doing.
Exactly. Well, this is why the Court of Appeals ruled the way they did.
City of
this
Howell
is a right you enjoy as a citizen of this state under this act. It's a people's initiative. You can't take it away by ban.
And Denise said something very valuable earlier too when I was listening in my car when I was in the parking lot because I couldn't get in. How sad for me because I was late. And she said that the Ter Beek opinion definitely told communities you cannot make violations of Michigan law and use federal law to justify it. So a lot of these communities that may not have outright bans but have in other ways restricted activities may have to relook at those ordinances, and there may be some very valid lawsuits from some people like Attorney John Ter Beek or anybody else who has means and motive to go after these communities, because after a couple of them get sued and they lose, all of them will stop doing this.
Well, I think they're getting the hint. I mean, I've seen some interviews in some local papers with people from the councils and the boards of these smaller municipalities going, well, we have to go back to the drawing board now.
Exactly.
And I think it's important to distinguish the fact that this was favorable to the medical marijuana community, but it was a very, very important opinion as far as civil liberties are concerned, too.
Well, here's my point I want to draw back to as it relates to police. If those two teens in Troy that were found dead in a building, or a field out by the Detroit airport,
those Westland
Westland guys. If those guys were selling drugs, if they had a big stash to go get, the police would have found out who did that by now.
Your call's next. We gonna bend over or no? Yeah, you gotta. Okay. Steve and Rick will be right back after this. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
Hey, Steve Greene here for the medical marijuana certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99. for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. When opening a marijuana-related business or club, it's vital that you obtain expert legal advice right away. 14-year legal veteran and respected field expert Denise Policella founded Cannabis Attorneys of Mid-Michigan to provide focused expertise to the developing industry. She's uniquely suited to help your business grow and remain open. And with attorney Timothy McDonald, now provides premier representation on criminal charges, raids, and asset forfeitures. Click on smallbusinesslegal.net or call 517-546-1181. That's 517-546-1181. Hey, Metro Detroit, come to Nature's Alternative, a clean, safe, secure cannabis provisioning center on the Grosse Pointe Detroit border on Mack Avenue. Nature's Alternative has a professional, knowledgeable, and friendly staff helping patients and caregivers daily with a complete line of medibles, concentrates, topicals, and raw flowers. You'll get only the best medical-grade cannabis produced by Michigan growers and caregivers at Nature's Alternative. Open 7 days a week. A proud supporter of the National Patient Rights Association. Details at naturesalternativeclinic.com or call 313-885-0000. That's 313-885-0000.
1310 WDTW, Detroit's Progressive Talk, the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Hell yeah, back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show about 22 or 3 minutes before 1 o'clock.
Barbarian Death March.
It is the Death March. I love this song.
That's right.
It's high tempo, charged.
Billy Talent, yeah.
It reminds me of punk rock from the 80s. God, yeah. Anyways, we can find us here on RadioWeedShow.com on 1310 WDTW, Detroit's Progressive Talk. Every Saturday from noon until 1, we post this stuff on YouTube afterwards. In case you're listening now and maybe miss us a couple other times, and you want to go find us, you can find us on YouTube.
Listen to that Rep Carlton interview from the other day. It was great.
Oh, it was a really good thing. By the way, anybody got questions about? Because we're going to try and play the contest later. Maybe we shouldn't do the contest today. I don't know. We should ask questions about Carlton. But here's the part that I think you guys are missing. The object isn't necessarily to give away the prize. The object is to get the listener to identify an answer that you can only hear on the show from the week before. Not a generality question, not something they could find in a book, not something they can, get in a bunch of other places, but something that happened on the show.
Not what does MMA stand for?
Right.
Oh, that would be bad.
If we absolutely have to give the prize away because that's what we want to do that day, then we'll ask them a really easy question. But I'm not trying to make the questions hard. I just want to make it relatable to the show so that you had to hear the show in order to answer the question.
So what color is my underwear is a completely valid question. That's all I'm saying.
Did we discuss that on the show last time? This is a video broadcast.
That's what I'm saying.
We have to have proof, Denise. That's all I'm telling you. We have to have proof.
That's rude.
You have the wrong guy at the controls for this conversation.
I know. The gay man is not turned on. Wow.
Yeah, go figure. I wonder how that happened.
Ryan and I are happy, though.
Oh, good Lord.
Just to let you know.
I don't remember, actually.
All right, so...
it's all about the bra. That was what was offered earlier.
Yeah, I heard some rumor of some kind of odd
bra showing after the show.
Okay, all right.
Your pants on fire.
I cut out the liar.
Oh, thanks.
Now it just sounds like that progressive commercial.
Oh, that's funny. Pantalones disappears.
No más pantalones.
No más pantalones.
My kids are like, I don't get it. I'm like, liar, pants on fire. They're like, oh.
Yeah. So, are we going to do the contest? Do you want to do the
Sure, let's do the contest.
Well, we can't do it. We'll do it at the end of the show.
I have a great
question. At the end of the show.
I have a great question for the contest, too.
Okay, cool. We'll talk about those during the next break. If you want to give us a call, talk about this business with the ordinance and what it means, what it doesn't mean. We do have some people that know something about it.
We have a little bit of knowledge.
We can give you some answers.
If we don't, we'll make it up.
We'll make it up.
It'll sound really convincing.
Such.
Don't bowl his secret.
All the time.
That's right. Arbitron says we're number one. Yeah.
Hey, it does say we're number one.
I know. That wasn't a joke.
We're number one. So we got to tell people about a couple of days we're going to be off.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have some sports conflicts.
It looks like the 1st and 3rd September Saturday. So September, we're out on the 1st and the
Which
3rd
is
weekend.
Labor Day weekend, so I'm good with that anyway. I'm out of town.
It is Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, it is.
We can all go
I'm going up north. I'm going up north, dude.
there was an issue. Now we might there is a bit of a conflict with that because this is just at the noon spot at the noon to 1 slots, preempted by football. I think it's WMU
football season.
But the thing is that we can still get an hour after the football game, and I think if
knock yourself out. I'm going to be up north.
No, it's okay. I expected you probably would, but I think if we might end up being out there at Arts Beats and Eats. No,
they're being very difficult about all kinds of different things. And in order for us to participate, you'd have to actually pay to get entry in order to get into Arts Beats and Eats, and then we would have to shuttle all of the equipment in. They would not allow us to use a vehicle to bring it in. There's a lot of different things that they've thrown up there that's rather unique this year. The area that we're broadcasting from last year was the children's area that we proposed to broadcast from was the children's area where they had the big children's stage and everything, and it was quite loud, so people inside the buildings around there couldn't even hear themselves. So it might be difficult for us to do that this year.
Well, it's still something I want to explore because
I do too.
I think that's another huge festival. Yeah, they moved that from Pontiac 2 years ago.
They certainly did. And Royal Oak's a great venue for it. The open carry guys can have their firearms right there at eye level and out so that anybody could snatch it off their waist and start shooting people. It's great. and of course, the booze is flowing like never before. It's like Dionysus' own temple inside there.
You make it sound like beer and guns is a bad combination.
Well, you're from Howell, I forgot. Damn.
Beer and guns go hand in hand.
Got a keg and a shotgun rack in your truck. Okay,
guns
good.
and antidepressants.
A keg rack. Cool. Nice. I normally like rack of any kind, but
I would like rack of keg. Please.
Rack of lamb.
Rack of
Wow, that's okay.
I'm
let's
so glad
stop
our
this.
listeners could be privy to our office meeting.
I just don't get it.
Most important thing is, though, that if we do decide to broadcast at another time, we'll give everybody plenty of knowledge, plenty of notice, and then you'll all be able to tune in at the appropriate time to catch the Medical Marijuana Radio Show, no matter when we broadcast.
Which you can do anyway, because we're on iHeartRadio, YouTube, all that other stuff.
People can find us.
Yes.
It's more important about what's content of the show. What's in the show? What can people get when they get here? I don't know. Right now, it's
Steve making goat noises.
That wasn't a goat. It was a sheep.
My identifying farmyard animal skill is lacking. Sorry.
Did you have the problem with the see and say? No.
Yeah. The black kids took it from me when I was growing up.
The cow goes moo.
Welcome to Flint. Yeah.
Drug dealer says, "Get out of here."
This is what happens when we have a show.
Which is better than drug
serious.
dealer says, "Come over here."
Right. Gun says bang, bang. Gun says bang, bang.
Cop says too busy to worry about that. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Have that one. I grew up on the east side. I grew up in like St. Clair Shores. I literally, and I don't want this to sound in it. I didn't literally meet my first black person until I was 11.
Oh, so we're sheltered.
I just didn't. It was Sterling Heights and St. Clair Shores. We didn't leave, and we didn't go on vacation.
You didn't go down the street.
I don't consider it sheltered. I consider it completely uneducated.
I was
both.
As a matter I was sheltered and uneducated until I got into school on my own.
All those kids knocking at your door on Halloween were not all wearing black masks.
Yeah,
yes, they were.
And now I live in Howell.
Everybody's Darth Vader.
No, but the great thing is I have 3 kids, and I know you have kids too, Denise. Our children are growing up in a time when we have a greater exposure to different cultures, to different races.
God.
There's no. It took me 20 years before I first met a Muslim. It took me 20 years before I first met a Jew. None of those things are happening. And we're enveloping all different cultures as the melting pot always was intended to be, and this makes it easier for us to incorporate different ideas and concepts. Like, I don't know, maybe marijuana is not quite as bad as we thought it was.
The first time I went to Detroit, I met a black Jew. I mean, it's really easy to do. It's
not hard. And one of the reasons I really actually like living where I live is because I'm so close to Ann Arbor. I love to. My kids grew up at the Ann Arbor Children's Museum. I take them there all the time, and that's where we go when Howell becomes suffocating, which it does on occasion.
You can't just get in a balloon and fly away.
Clearly not. Clearly not.
It's still an open wound for Steve and I. I'm sorry, we're still sore.
I don't blame you. Although I have to tell you, my memory of Balloon Fest was somewhat different. I had fried Oreos, and I'm thinking, if you would have just had some fried Oreos, you would have been happier.
Discrimination is okay as long as you have deep fried sweet food.
They were really good. They made me feel much better.
Rolling anything in tempura batter and frying it makes it better. You can do it with a watch, and it's going to be tasty.
It's crunchy, but it'll be really good going down.
Honestly,
I don't think the Timex will keep on ticking after you put it in the Tempura batter.
After you gave it a licking,
The
the real
Timex people will be upset to hear that.
Oh, no.
We ought to
But your
try
tag
that.
will be.
Nope, they're gonna.
Your tag would definitely
You're
be
straining
okay.
your stool for 2 days after that. It's not a good experience.
You'll definitely
That's
be
the voice of
medical
experience,
marijuana
folks.
patient after that.
I grunted and hurt my ticker.
Would that Representative Carlton is not listening this week.
the
Turn
lowbrow
it off.
comedy that we've got now.
Turn it off. Hurry.
Look, it's a light week. Except for this Supreme Court thing, we got nothing.
Hey, look,
Field
no,
Court?
next
No,
week
it's a
coming
good
up,
thing.
Saturday,
Court of Appeals on
Saturday,
that.
Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This week coming up, we've got the Great Lakes Gathering, which is a wonderful opportunity for people to come up to Houghton Lake. That's you can find that on Facebook, Seeking 420 Events. There's on the 420 calendar that information is on there too. It's wonderful. It's not that expensive.
Why are we doing our show from there?
That's a good question, Steve. I don't know. Why aren't we?
Houghton Lake.
Houghton Lake is. Are you afraid of the water?
No, I used to live on Houghton Lake. I used to live in a cottage on Houghton Lake.
Oh, it's
really?
Uncle
No, I
Pete's
had a-
Cannabis Camp.
I used to work at Houghton Lake at a radio station.
Can you imagine a better time than spending a weekend with people around campfires, eating s'mores, canoeing, kayaking, just floating down the river with your fat self on an inner tube, getting sunburned,
That sounds fantastic.
No, Steve's not fat. I was talking about me. But it's just wonderful to be able to get away, and for an event that's going to promote unity within the community, that's really a great deal.
Unity within the community. I like the bumper
A
sticker.
lot of alliteration going on today.
There is.
Lot
Look,
of
Houghton
alliteration.
Lake doesn't bring fond memories back for me because I
Takes a
lived in
licking
a
and keeps on
cottage.
ticking.
First off, I lived during the Reagan
Lived in a
administration.
van
you know.
down by
Oh,
the
so you were
river.
hiding up north during
Kinda,
the
pretty
Reagan
much, yeah.
Holocaust, right?
You know,
While I was on the streets of Flint with Michael Moore protesting all of those
no,
wonderful
Michael Moore
things.
came a little bit later, didn't he?
No, he didn't. We were the Village Voice, 81, 82, 83. We were
I guess,
disturbing that
you know.
throughout the city.
This is before Michael was famous.
Yeah, exactly. No, this
Roger,
is back-
Roger and me came along about 88, 89.
We were in an organization called People in Solidarity with Latin America. We used to meet at a little Baptist church out on Ballinger Highway, and we had protests at the Vietnam War Veterans Memorial there in downtown Flint, distributing the voice. It was really a time when Ronald Reagan and the conservatives were doing some pretty wicked things in Latin America, and that's really what we were focused on.
You're literally a professional activist, aren't you?
Well, I got to be a professional something.
Look, this business, you still keep in touch with the Moore Man?
No, not at all. Nope. No.
I called him Moore Man. That's pretty good.
That's like a superhero name. Hey,
It is.
not bad.
How could you lose touch with
I
somebody
will save
like
the world
that?
with documentaries. Dun, 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 dun.
What is he doing right now?
The last I knew, he was going to. Michael created a film fest. He's up in Traverse City, I think, next weekend.
Exactly right. He's hugely successful and still fighting for some of the causes he espoused back then. Got to
He
respect
needs
that.
to find a new one. I know. Wait, I know.
Marijuana, perhaps.
Yes.
Hey, he does pieces on Reason TV. He
Yes.
does stuff about marijuana.
He does.
Back with
He
more on
needs
the
to
show
do
after
more.
this.
More of your calls next. 818-423-2350. We'll be right back after this on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. 1069.
1310 WDTW, Detroit's Progressive Talk. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show for the last segment of the hour. Are we going to do the contest, guys? We're going to try and do it?
Do the contest, do some news.
Yeah. You ready for the news, Ryan?
I'm ready. Yeah, let's do it.
You got it ready to go? Okay.
Let's go.
I always
Ryan Pretzel.
Rolled gold. But that's already taken. We got to.
Rolled gold. I love it.
Pretzel for short.
Yeah, I think that's already taken.
The Bringold Cannabis News comes your way now.
All right. In California, Rep. Barbara Lee, a top Democratic House representative on the Appropriations Committee, introduced a state medical marijuana Property Rights Protection Act in Congress this week. Medical marijuana advocates will get their day in court later this year when the U.S. Court of Appeals will hear arguments for the therapeutic values of medical marijuana.
ACE thing? Is that the one that ACE is bringing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, in Amsterdam, this one is actually one I really like. The Dutch pot smokers are complaining that the generation that was running around naked in Amsterdam and on acid in the 60s is now threatening the well-established and regulated marijuana trade in the Netherlands. The mayor of Amsterdam will fight to keep the coffee shops open in his city.
No, those guys over in the Netherlands they were the first ones to kind of make this okay.
Okay. Decrim. They were the first decrim.
Tolerance.
Absolutely.
And that's really what it is, because it's still kind of against the law over there. But it's
a decrim situation.
Right.
I've actually been there twice, and I studied it, for extensively before I went there. I actually went there for the wedding of the prince.
Funny what a pot leaf will make you do in studying.
Yeah, very interesting. However, what's happened in the last 10 years there is the political system has changed to a very conservative, group of people, where you had a lot of liberals before. So the Dutch way of things has changed. The Dutch people aren't really the main voters anymore. It seems like you have a lot of Muslims and a lot of people coming from other areas that are changing the rules, and the tolerance is there.
Right.
So coffee shops, they're losing their licenses.
Well, I mean,
you can't sell
the
your
Cannabis
shop.
Cup got raided for the first time ever. Last year.
You can't even sell a shop. If you were a shop owner, you cannot sell your shop. You can give it to your family. You can have it go down, but you're not allowed to sell them. If you want to sell it, you can no longer have cannabis in that shop.
It's like U of M.
So it's done. Your rights are denied. So it's forced attrition.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So they are changing things, but the mayor in Amsterdam, as I said, he knows it's a destination point. People go there for two reasons: to relax and have a good time. And if you start pulling those away, what's going to happen? That's a lot of economy that's not going to be there.
They're not visiting for the wooden shoes. I thought that was the big draw.
I got shoes and wine when I was there, but
they don't even clog in the wooden shoes anymore, do they?
I'm still perplexed at why this is a liberal conservative issue. I don't understand why conservatives haven't seen the tax and manufacturing value and at least got on for that.
Well,
I don't get it.
They're too busy trying to save the tax dollars that we'd have to pay our police otherwise. That's what they're doing. I don't know. That's my opinion.
But if you took the tax, licensing revenue and inspection revenue and gave that to law enforcement as part of the budget, just like the lottery money goes to the schools, give the tax revenue and the licensing and inspection revenue from medical marijuana businesses to the police, to fund law enforcement, then I think we'd take care of it. Yes.
Who knows?
So
it's
the system
not a bad
we're
idea.
using now is not working, and that's the bottom line.
I feel like I'm not getting something.
So we're going to try and give away. A vaporizer. It's a little portable vaporizer. It's a battery operated. It's rechargeable. It's like the size of a cigarette pack. It's called. I forgot the name of the stupid thing now. I've got to call Puff Daddy and remember the name of it. It's like Vaporizer. I can't remember what it is. But anyways, it's a very cool little device. If you want to try and win a vaporizer, if you were listening to the show last week, we've got a question lined up for you. Give us a call. You got about 5 minutes left in the show to do this, including the show close. 248-848-1310. 248-848-1310. Now, you can go during the week and sign up online on RadioWeedShow.com and put your phone number in, and we'll call you. I didn't bring the list with me today, so I'm depending on you to call me. That's how it's going to work this week. So if you want to call, we may or may not, depending on if we get a caller. Anybody interested in getting a vaporizer? I think it's a cool prize. Free.
I'm going to the parking lot. I'm going to call.
He's going out to the parking lot.
I need a free
Ryan's always trying to snack up on the. He's a prize pig. Ryan's a prize pig.
2 callers,
Oh,
not
look at
just
that.
one, but 2 callers.
What farm animal
Unknown
was
called
that?
and unknown called.
Wow, that's a bad theme to go with, guys.
So, we're waiting. We got a couple of calls coming in. We're just waiting for the call screener to put the.
I got one. There's
put
a
them up
name.
on the. It's Dave. Oh, now, is this the same? Is this your Dave? It probably
I
is.
don't know.
I think
I
this
don't
is.
have a Dave.
We got Dave.
I know a Dave.
Ryan, do you have a Dave?
I do not. Dave's not
Dave from Redford.
Dave from Redford. Is this Dave Federak?
Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
I didn't think you were supposed to discuss people's last names online.
Well,
Let's
I don't
send
know.
them all to his house.
What's your
the reason I asked is because
lunch in Redford. It will be ready at 1:30.
No, Dave. The reason I asked is because Dave came with us to Cedar Point, and he's also he's kind of won a prize recently already. We kind of.
We're not giving him any.
So we're gonna have to let you wait. It's once every 30 days. So.
Steve's making this
No,
crap.
I'm not.
Changing the rules on the fly.
No, it's not. It's in the contest rules. They're right
Is
on
it
the
really?
website. Yeah, it's
That's
right.
okay.
was
After
gonna
the
use
show,
an
he can
alias.
see
I
Denise's
thought I'd be
bra. So that's the backup prize.
Dave,
special today.
You got to call up and pretend you're somebody else next time. I'm just kidding.
Dave will call up with the Spanish like, hello.
Someone asks your last name, just say no.
Kenny
so
Chesney is on the line. Kenny
Is this
Chesney.
Kenny Chesney?
Say yes.
Kenny, you're on the line.
Don't give us your last name for the love of God.
Kenny, what city are you calling from?
I'm in Dearborn.
Hey, Kenny. So you guys got the question
I
ready?
sure do. I've got a question for you,
All
Kenny.
right. So we got to play the contest theme. Here we go. Oh, that's the winner. We don't want to do that. We got to. Oh, here we go. All right. So we're gonna play the. What are we calling this stupid contest?
This stupid
No,
contest.
we had a contest name. I can't believe I forgot the name of the stupid contest.
We're very prepared at the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Yeah, we're not prepared at all. Don't kid yourself, folks.
We're losing time. Let me get the question out there real quick. Kenny,
he's going to ask you the question. You got 20 seconds to answer the question. I'm going to start the timer as soon as he finishes the question. So go ahead.
you ready, Kenny?
Yep.
All right. Last week, we interviewed Representative Carlton, who talked about Prairie Systems coming from Canada to supply medical marijuana to Michigan. He also said that Prairie Systems only supplies a small amount of the Canadian need. What percentage of Canadian marijuana market did he say that Prairie Systems satisfies?
I don't even know this.
I know it. I was listening.
What percentage?
I'll give you a 10% buffer, plus or minus.
Hey, shut up.
Just to give you a range. Throw something out there, Kenny.
Pull the close music down. Pull the close music down, please. Okay.
Kenny, what's the number?
60%.
Oh, unfortunately, that's incorrect. Oh, the correct answer is a paltry 10%.
I knew this one.
10 minimal percent. Sorry, Kenny. But at least you have all those record revenues, Kenny Chesney. You got all that money coming in, so that's good for you.
We're gonna try and give away another one of these courtesy of Puff Danny next week. Kenny, thanks for trying. Just because you played doesn't mean you didn't win. You can play again next week if you want.
Dave has 2 weeks.
Dave has 2 weeks. Dave's not here. Sorry, Kenny. We're trying to give away this vaporizer from Puff Danny's, and
Hello, I'm not Dave.
You gotta call up as a chick. You gotta pretend you're.
Now we're getting barnyard animals to gender benders.
Chick.
We're in trouble.
The women yelling, I tell them to shut up. RadioWeedShow.com, our trademarks. Copyright 2011.
See you next week.
The comments, ideas, and opinions expressed in the preceding program